So hi guys, welcome to today's video and thanks for making time to watch this. So basically what I'm presenting to you today is the IFNULL function and the coalesce function. And these two functions helps us to replace our null values, in tables that we retrieve. I'll just jump straight into an example so you can understand what I'm talking about. So in this fancy ink database, there is a table called department tab. Let's open this department tab table and see what we have in there. So for instance, when I say select everything from department tab, what is, sorry for this. Okay, when I do this, we can view this. Let me just refine this table by putting in an order by department number. Enter. So what we see is that we have an 11 by 3 and an 11 by 3 table here. And this particular table, let me just bring it up. In this particular table, you see that we have 3 columns: department number, department name, and department manager. But in this particular field, all the entities here are null, whilst we have 10 entities, 9 entities filled up here, with 2 being null. Now, this is where IFNULL and coalesce comes in. If we want to change, say, these nulls to, let's say, not available or not present or not applicable, that is when we can use this IFNULLs and coalesce. So let me do an example so we can understand it better. So now I can say that I'm selecting, department number, then I bring in the function. I bring in the IFNULL function, then I say department name, comma, not available. From the table name is departments DUP. Let me order again. Order by department number. Let's use the ESC so we can see the button first. Now let me clean this up. So we are selecting department number, this particular column, and we are also concentrating on department name column. For this particular example, we are not looking at the department manager column. So let's take our eyes off that and look at this particular column. So now, what IFNULL function is doing here is that it is basically saying that whenever you get into this department name column and there is a name for the department name column, which is marketing, keep it. When there is finance, you can keep it. Let me just take this up. So you see, IFNULL department name, this first argument says that when the department name column has no null, keep the department name, right? So when it's no null, that is marketing, keep marketing. When it's finance, keep finance. Then the second argument says not available. That is where this side comes in. The second argument is now telling you that whenever you see a null don't keep the null, but change it to not available. Whenever you see another null, don't keep it, but change it to not available. And what will send you the signal that we are the signal about the particular column we are concentrating on is the first column that is stated here. When you see that when I change this to department manager, then I'm concentrating on the department manager column. But because this is a department name, this is the column I'm concentrating on. So let's execute this and see what we get. Execute. So when we execute, you see that we have the D011, which header2 was null, changed to not available, and also the 10 has also been changed to not available. The only clumsy thing that we see here is this whole thing, which is taken as a table header, and that is not right. We can make it department name, and then we get it back here. Now, so how does COALESCE comes in? COALESCE comes in with the ability to have, say, 2 or more arguments, which is a limitation for the IFNULL function. So COALESCE is basically doing what IFNULL does, but can move a step further to consider more arguments. Now, so let's change this to COALESCE and see whether it can actually do what IFNULL was doing. Did I get the spelling right? B. Let me see. I'm not going to go. Good. So you see, we're selecting everything and we're using COALESCE, and it's doing the same thing as IFNULL is doing. Now, let's change this to 3 arguments. I'm going to copy the whole of this. Paste. I say select department number. This time around, I'm going to move on to the department manager column. So, going to see enter, department name, and then I am considering the department, Control Z. I'm considering the department manager column, and done. So now, what is COALESCE doing now? COALESCE has brought in another column, which is the 3rd column, which was the department manager column. And now it's saying that let's just bring that the initial department table here so we can understand it better. So here is it. So COALESCE is going into this whole table and saying that, hey, when you remerge this table and you see a not null value, let me show it here. When you see a not null value here, keep whatever you see, which is the department manager. Keep it. Else, if you see a null value, move to this particular column. That's the department name column. Move to this particular column and replace this null value with the name of the department name, such that, for instance, here is null. I expect this null to change to what? To marketing when I execute this code, and this side to change to finance when this code is executed. However, the 3rd argument here is saying that if you move to this particular column after finding a null in this department manager column, and peradventure you find another null in this department name column, which we are experiencing in this row number 10, then change this to not applicable, not this. All right, so let's execute this and see what we get. Did I order by? Let's see, because I don't want it. Yeah, it's ordered by. So let's order see. So you see, so from what we had earlier on, we were having a null here, coalesce moves here and sees a customer service and replace the null by the customer service. But in an instance where it sees a null here, moves into department name column and sees another null, it's going to replace this by a not available. So by inference, these two functions do not necessarily make any massive changes to the table that we retrieve, but it just making a visual change to satisfy our needs based on whatever we are doing. Last but not the least is that when we try, say, changing this to if null, we are going to get an error because I've earlier on stated that the if null uses only two functions, and when we execute this, we're going to get an error, and that's the error that we got here: incorrect parameter count in the coordinative function if null. So that's it. So I'm going to Control Z and get back the right table that we wanted to retrieve. There is a last thing that coalesce can do, and that is something that it's so nice, and professionals usually use it. Sometimes you may want to view, you may want to have an some sort of hypothetical view of how your table would look like before you try to create your tables, and then you can use coalesce to create what we call a fake column, so that you see pictorially how your tables are going to look like. And in these instances, you use only one argument. Now, so let me clear this. And just leave in one argument here. And I can't repeat this as also a department name, so I'll just call this, say, fake column. I want to also show my department. Oh, sorry. I think the name I used for, let me go back and do some correction. Control Z. Yeah, here it shouldn't have been department name, but rather department manager. Sorry for that. Yeah, so when we do that, then we have department name and department manager. That's right. So now back to the fake column. We can just delete this and we call this fake column, and we put in our department manager here once again with a comma. Now when we run this, see what we get. And this is not available. That is what we have stated. We are just trying to tell coalesce to append a column which we actually don't need, but it will give us a pictorial view of what we want to do in our next step. And then in these rows, it should coalesce should put in the not available string as our entity. So basically that's it. Coalesce does more arguments than if null. If null is limited to only two arguments, and practically it will be wise for us to actually stick to coalesce, since it can do what if null does, and also do some additional stuff with these fake columns and also the more entities, the more arguments. So this is what today's video is about. I believe it came in handy, and on your road of data retrieval, you're going to use it as and when you deem it important. And I think today's video will end here, and until we meet again, it's a goodbye.